Well, it's evening, and we've had quite a long day. I hope that the few that are remaining, it was quite full this morning, will still be able to listen to us. Sociology is never known to be very innovative in terms of adopting new ways of doing things. And perhaps it's given its history from the fact that we emerged as a discipline from chaos of change as we modernized. But we have trying to change with the times, these days at least, and we're presenting some of our experiences in converting, online conversion and offering of 3 courses at 100, 200, and 300 level. And it's me and my colleagues, Yoko and Tui. But perhaps I need to mention that we owe much of the successes to our colleagues in CFL, Alanieta Fatiaki and Viola Lesi. And as the theme for today's forum is, I think it takes all of us, and we're really grateful for that. And in terms of the outline for the presentation, we'll have a little bit about what we understood the courses that we offer should be able to speak to USP graduate outcomes. And in that sense, we are able to be responding to nurturing these lifelong transferable skills. And then we'll definitely be able to reflect a little bit about what we offered, and then what the success and challenges are the factors that lend to the successes, and a little bit of conclusion. And we start with Tui with his reflections.
Thank you. I teach sociology at the elementary level, and that is SO 100. This is a compulsory course for all sociology students, and is comprised of themes and sociological perspectives that are designed to be explored in more details with courses in the 200 level and 300 level in sociology. Well, there are a lot of insights that was garnered from our first attempt at migrating our courses to the blended mode. And I will just focus on one in this presentation, and that is the performance indicators in terms of the quality of graduates that came through this new mode, this new learning platform. You can see from there that in terms of A+ and A's, we have improved drastically in performance. It's a move from 12% to 22%. If you're wondering what these percentages are, in terms of A+, we have students' numbers increased by 3, but in terms of A's, it's an increase from 9 A students from the last semester, which incidentally tops the last 4 years, to 21 in this semester. So that is a drastic increase in terms of sociology results. But this has to be contextualized on a canvas of a slight decline in the overall pass rate from 81 to 79%. We have a lot of reasons for this, and we've thought that perhaps the most salient one has to do with computer literacy at this level of understanding, at this level, in 100 level, when new students are coming in and probably finding too daunting a proposition, the new paraphernalia that is associated with technological learning these days. And the other one is the regional connectivity associated with real-time linkages between our campuses here in Moldova and the ones in the different regions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yoko, and the course I converted is called SO 200, Modern Social Theory. It's a second-year compulsory course, relatively small class of 40 to 60. It's heavily theoretical in the sense that it's all about social theories and social philosophies, so it's a bit of a tough course. So that's the course I converted. And as I converted the course, there were some questions that drove the conversion process. For instance, can we make it interesting to study theory online? So it's not just any course, but a theory course. Can we make it interesting online? Can we recreate student interaction online? Because the usual assumption is that online teaching takes away interaction. Is that true? Can we recreate interaction online? And also, can we cultivate USB graduate outcomes online? My particular focus was on teamwork. So can we promote teamwork online? So these were the questions that I had in mind as I converted my course. The final course design that I ended up with had a number of new online elements, of course, in addition to the traditional elements of essays and textbooks and whatnot. For instance, I had a PowerPoint presentation with a voiceover as an introduction to each unit. But more importantly, my students did 3 online activities to which 30% of the final grade was given. The students did an online glossary of key terms as a semester-long individual task. And this was to ensure that the students engaged with the course consistently throughout the semester. And there was also the usual discussion forum, but the participation in it was assessed. And then there was a new activity called Group Reflection Journal, which practically served as a virtual tutorial group. So how it worked was the class was divided into a number of small groups, and each semester, each unit, the groups were given a topic to discuss together in their own little private space on Moodle. So they had their own little tutorial room on Moodle to discuss a topic together. And each unit, 2 students were given leadership roles. So one was the team leader who facilitated the discussion, and the other was called collator/poster, who summarized the discussion and posted it on the presentation space shared by the rest of the class. So in this way, groups presented their work to each other. So this is how the final product looked. The course was offered in the blended mode on a trial basis last semester. How did it go? I have to say that it went so much better than I could have expected. I received some overwhelmingly positive feedback from my students in relation to their learning experience, and they seem to have particularly enjoyed the group work. And this enjoyment translated into much better student performance, and I've got some amazing results here. As you can see, the pass rate jumped up from 63% to 82%, and if you look at B pluses and Bs, they jumped from 18 to 33%. So clearly, students enjoy online learning, this particular course online, much better. And then they perform much better. Going back to my original questions, so did the course make theory interesting? Well, as far as student feedback online is concerned, the course seems to have done a fairly good job. I received many comments, and this is one of them. I really enjoyed studying modern social theory, something I thought would never be possible. So it seems to be pretty good feedback. How about interaction and teamwork? Again, as far as student feedback on Moodle is concerned, the course seems to have been fairly effective. This student says, the things I enjoyed most were the online activities. By constantly interacting with fellow students, I was able to know other students better and to develop a sense of appreciation and respect for each other. And I think group work worked really well here because it mixed up Lodala and regional students, so they got to know each other at a distance, but they worked with each other. They learned from each other. When somebody was slow or lagging behind, others would come in, help them and encourage them. It really worked very well together. So all in all, I would say the course was a fairly good success. What were the contributing factors? Of course, I had some major challenges, but those have already been mentioned by Tui, so I won't repeat them here. So I'll just focus on the success factors. I think the key to the success of the course was definitely the sense of community that was developed, not just among students, but also between the students and the lecturer. There was a lot of bonding and collective learning and collective support, mutual support that was going on, particularly in group work. And in this way, online learning became not an imposition by the university or an imposition by the lecturer, but a collective project. It was a project between myself and the students. And in this way, students also developed a sense of ownership. It was their own project. It was something that they wanted to do themselves. But for that to happen, I felt that it was extremely important for the lecturer to be always visible and present online so that students knew that they were not doing that on their own. I was right there beside them online. So for me, those were the most important success factors, and that was my experience with SO200. Thank you.
And when it came to SO301, which is the Sociology of Public Policy and Administration, this course is an elective. I had a class size of 8 in last semester, and the theory is quite heavy on theory. I mean, sorry, the course is very heavy on theory, but also does have, we need to have the students empirically applying some of the theories that they are learning. And to be honest with you, when I was coming to USP, I was quite anxious about some of what in my interview. I'm pretty new. I've just finished a year in USP. But I was told that there is a lot of online learning and all these, and it would be my first experience. So I was quite anxious about how do we recreate some of these particular activities that we do in traditional learning and teaching to ensure that we achieve at least these particular graduate outcomes: creativity, professionalism, teamwork, communication, critical thinking. And of course, in the traditional face-to-face teaching, we have debates that can be able to achieve quite a lot about them. And when we asked whether can we have online debates, we were told, yeah, it's very much there. And we also see a lot of this happening through other through media platforms like Facebook and such others. So, but we still had a little bit about technical issues. So, but Ala and others told us that it is very much possible. And what we needed to do was that we need to ensure that the student turnaround time is spot on. That students definitely need to be grouped into groups that will become as efficient, as effective as in any debate. We also needed to ensure that students need to pull their weight, because as in any debate, if only one party is speaking, then it's no longer a debate. And of course, we need to prepare students to ensure that these things are there. But then the idea of offering or assessing students through a debate also became quite attractive to us, because at least we can see, okay, we have group work, we have all these things that can be able to at least help us achieve those particular USP graduate outcomes. So what did we achieve? We think that when we designed the online learning through online debates, we were able to at least get a lot of creativity from students to encourage professionalism, teamwork, and leadership skills, because students were grouped and they were asked to have, one of them was the team leader and was supposed to lead the rest of the group in this particular debate. And out of that, of course, we also had quite a very strict timing, and that way we think that these particular activities did encourage the development of these particular skills. Then, perhaps quite importantly as well, is that we also had a lot of communication skills that, especially written communication, and this came from the debate process itself, where individual students have to do posts in group workspaces. They have to do cascading exercises in collecting and summarizing group positions within set one limits, but also within time limits. They also had to do counter arguments in these particular exercises. And then we also did achieve critical thinking. And this came with definitely an understanding of the debate topic. And some of we had two debates or two topics for the semester. And one of them was very practical, which asked that social inequalities are prevalent in society, and we shouldn't be using social policy as to engineer any equalizing effect. And of course, that required a lot of reading about what the theory says about social inequalities and how to address them. And of course, that does encourage a lot of critical thinking. And we are in the pass rate of about 82%, so 24% A's, B's are B pluses for 4.7%. And Yoko offer a few concluding remarks.
Okay, so what seems to emerge from my experience of online conversion is that it is indeed possible to cultivate USP graduate outcomes, in other words, transferable lifelong skills via online learning. In fact, online courses can bring about some significant improvement in both student satisfaction and student performance. But for this to happen, there are some major challenges that must be addressed by the university and also by the lecturers as well, but particularly by the university, because these challenges are the ones that are mentioned by TUI, particularly connectivity, especially out in the region, also computer literacy of particular first-year students, and also some technical issues and glitches that seem to happen every now and then. So those are our experiences of online conversion and what that means for nurturing lifelong skills for our students. Thank you.